And we've been joined by Coach Tony Levine from Houston. The Cougars are 7-4 overall, 5-2 in the American Athletic Conference. Houston was in action this past Friday. Cougars beat SMU 35-9. And up next for Houston will be this Saturday at Cincinnati. Cougars close the regular season at noon Eastern Time on ESPN. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the win against SMU, and then what you expect to see from your club Saturday in the regular season finale at Cincinnati, please.
Well, again, it was a weekend across the country full of rivalry games, and we started off extremely fast. Defensively held them to 3 and out, and then offensively in the first play from scrimmage, Greg Ward had a rushing touchdown. We slowed down a little bit after that, had to regroup at halftime, and came out and executed much better in the second half. For the second consecutive game, we scored on our opening drive offensively in the first half and the second half, and there was the third game we've had on the road this season that we've won. So, again, proud of the way our kids responded in the second half, and, certainly looking forward to traveling to Cincinnati this weekend. A very well-coached team, a very athletic team, and I've got great familiarity with this staff, having worked for Coach Tuberville at Auburn for 2 years in 2000, 2001. Got a great deal of respect for what he's done there in the short time he's been there, and again, it'll be a great challenge for us.
Take questions for Coach Levine, please. Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue, then the operator will introduce you.
Dan Tortora from Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hi, Coach. How you doing today?
Great, Dan. How are you?
Doing very well. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. We were on a bus for 4.5 hours heading to Dallas.
Well, hopefully you had some time to at least get something to eat on the way there.
We did. Thank you.
Now, looking at this game, I know you talked a little bit about, your respect for your upcoming team in Cincinnati, but to go a little bit deeper into Tommy Tuberville and what you've been able to take away from him, what can you say about your relationship with him and really, what you've seen from him as a coach?
Well, again, I had the privilege of working for him for over 2 years as a graduate assistant at Auburn. His second and third season there as head coach, and had an outstanding staff, and learned certainly a great deal from him and his staff in my time there. And everywhere he's been successful, and his resume speaks for itself. And again, in the short time he's been at Cincinnati, he's really done a great job in terms of continuing their tradition of late of not only winning but winning big. And they've done a great job recruiting, and they're very, very talented in all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. So he's a person in our profession that's well respected among his peers. Does everything the right way. Is a player's coach, but in the same respect is a disciplinarian. So he taught me a lot in my 2+ years working for him, and I've still learned from him, being an outsider and watching how he runs his programs.
And then as far as your team, and we've talked about Greg Ward before, but just his ability to be a threat all over the field, and having 3 touchdowns in the last game and being able to have almost 100 yards rushing, and then, obviously didn't have a touchdown passing, but was able to move the ball a little bit there. Just what you can say about how he's developed and where he's at, and how much of a weapon you're kind of seeing him become at this point.
Well, I continue to talk about his decision-making, and again, now he's started 6 games for us at quarterback. It's been obviously the previous 6 games were 5-1 in those 6 games, and in 5 of those games he's made great decisions. In the one game we turned the football over 4 times. But again, I think at that position there's a lot of learning that has to take place and growing that has to take place with game experience. And again, I've been proud of the way he's approached every game, and proud of the way he's handled the situations, learned from the number of situations he's been in, and really done a good job taking care of the football. You look back at this last game, he with the sacks, his net rushing was just under 100 yards, and we did not call a quarterback run in this last game. So he rushed for 93 yards and 3 touchdowns, and those were decisions that he made, and I think that speaks to itself. I think that really is a clear example of how dynamic he is with the football, and that different aspect he brings playing the quarterback position.
When he makes those calls, like you said, he had just under 100 yards, and you didn't call a quarterback run in the game. Do you like his decision making in those type of instances? I mean, when you're standing on the sidelines and you see him say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to take this." Is that something that you look back and appreciate, or there's sometimes where you're like, I wish he would have looked into certain other areas? How are you kind of seeing it from the sideline?
Well, I think our philosophy right now with Greg, and again, somewhat inexperienced, having started 6 games for us at quarterback. We're gonna love when he decides to take the ball and run with it. And again, you look back at this last game, 3 rushing touchdowns, almost 100 yards, really over 100 yards if you just count in him running the football. And then there's times when he tucks it and makes a mistake that's due from a lack of experience. We had the ball in our own end zone, and he made a decision to tuck it and try to make something happen, and we ended up coming out with a safety on that play, and you're going to have those plays. Greg's trying to make plays. You go back to 7 games ago against Central Florida when we put him in the second half, and he got us back into that game, gave us a chance to win, and we lost the ball at the end of the game right at the goal line. And again, he's trying to make plays. He makes many more plays than he doesn't make plays. And, occasionally you're going to have a negative play because he's trying to make something happen. And, at this point we'll certainly live with that because he's making things happen. He's producing for our offense.
I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And do we have any other questions for Coach Levine, please? Star 1 on your telephone if so. Coach, well, thank you for your time, not only for today, but also during the course of the season, and look forward to wishing you the best going forward.
Thank you. I appreciate it.